I'm Kyle Keefe, and this is Techno Golf, and this is Brad Ingerman from Dimension Z, and today we're talking about the shaft. Now, why is the shaft so important?
You know, the shaft really is 80% of the golf club. It's truly the engine of the club, and making sure that we identify all the proper shaft characteristics and match those to our swing characteristics is critical in making sure that we get a good contact every time.
Right off the bat, you got golfers that blow everything off to the right and some hook everything. How does the shaft affect where the ball is going?
Typically that's flex. If you're not playing with the right flex in your shaft, you're going to have problems with the trajectory of the shot. If the shaft is too stiff, we tend to hit the ball right, high right a lot. If it's too weak, we tend to turn the shot over and hook the ball a lot. So it's important that we optimize the load and releasing of that shaft as we move through the impact zone.
Now, is there a different kind of shaft, say, versus the driver you're holding versus one of these Dimension Z irons?
There is. You know, typically today we're building drivers and fairway woods almost exclusively with graphite shafts. That allows us to keep the overall weight of the club very light, which means we can make the club longer, which hopefully is going to translate into more distance.
Now, spine finding, we were talking about that earlier. Tell everybody out there exactly what spine finding is. This is actually interesting.
Spine finding is actually identifying and locating the weld seam in this shaft, understanding that this shaft went through a tubing process to get manufactured, and there is a weld seam in there, and that weld seam can affect load and release and droop. So making sure that we identify that weld seam and orient it into every club head in a specific position allows us to neutralize that weld seam and have a set of irons that's very consistent 3-iron through pitch.
Fairway metals, any different than the driver when it comes to shaft?
Typically the shaft is the same type of shaft. We tip cut it a little bit differently to optimize flex from the driver to the 3, 5, 7, or 9 wood that we may have in our bag. But it is, again, graphite, typically lightweight, and something that we can be very forgiving with. We don't tend to be as accurate with our longer woods than we are with our irons.